They call me Squirrel.
What's going on, Squirrel Squad? It is your boy, the Squirrel. You know, my friend Johan sent this over to me. He keeps me up to date on a lot of things that are happening. He teaches me a lot about certain laws and processes. And, you know, my friendship with this gentleman isn't just him just dumping me a bunch of stuff and be like, oh, here, check, watch this. It's more of, hey, did you know this? Or, hey, what's this like in your country versus my country? And it's such great dialogue back and forth between the two of us. He teaches me about how things work, and he sent this video over, and this is how to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He did express to me how it's a 5-week process, how many years apart it is, who has to call it, when they have to call it by. Like, you sent me a ton of information on all this, so it's kind of cool. I want to learn a little more, so I want to watch this video and see what we can learn. We'll try to learn together. Hopefully somebody watching this learned something in this video. If you guys are off in the UK and you all know about exactly how the election works, then I guess I'll just learn. Who knows, right? Hey, make sure you pay attention at the end of the video. Just listen in real quick and let me know what you think. I changed the outro music. So Phil Jones, who has been a friend of the channel's for a very, very, very long time, way back from the beginning, Phil made an AI song about Hey Look Squirrel, which I thought was really cool, and I sent over 2 versions of it to Twitter. I used a piece of that for the closing, so check it out. It's kind of neat. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Phil. I really mean it. Thanks, man. I've changed it on both channels, so that's going to be the closing. So, all right, here we go. This is how to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, like I already said. So let's make sure the volume is up, and then let's get into it. Let's see what we can learn.
So, you want to be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
I do.
You get to live in 10 Downing Street, meet the King, enact laws according to your will, and pet Larry the cat. But how do you get to be chosen? Well, you just run for office, right? Next time an election comes around, you just put your name forward? Well, no. Unlike the US President, the Prime Minister isn't directly elected.
I just want to make a quick note. I did note in the description of this video, she had said that she misspoke right here and said that unlike the United States, the Prime Minister is not directly elected, and she said that the President isn't directly elected either. You get to vote for President, but the votes add up to different. I'll tell you that's the part she said, and then I'll just add the votes add up to delegates and what the hell do they call them? Electoral votes, electoral college votes. So they count the votes, and whoever wins the vote, they get electoral college votes for that state. The problem is certain states are worth a ton more electoral college votes than other states. And it's not always by size. So it's weird. Like, you'll get this little crap state and it's worth some good points. You get a bigger state, it's worth nothing. So that's kind of the issue. That's what a lot of people have. Plus, they kind of maneuver the lines around so that they get better chances of winning each segment. Both sides do it, so I don't want to hear any Republicans crying, saying, "Oh, it's only the Democrats." I don't have Democrats crying, "Oh, it's only Republicans." Everybody does it. It's not a lie. So, anyways, I just wanted to point that out. So let's get into the video. I'm sorry. I just wanted to explain to you that she did catch that she had said that, and she did explain it in the description of the video.
You see, the UK is officially a constitutional monarchy, so officially, the monarch chooses the Prime Minister. But really, it's more complicated than that. Although the monarch could just choose a random person off the street, they don't want to do that. Partly because it would make them a lot of powerful enemies with all the people who thought they were going to be chosen. And partly because that person has got to be able to work with all the people they need to run a country with. So as it stands, at the moment, the monarch always picks someone who can command the confidence of the House of Commons.
Important.
In other words, get bills passed. So how does the monarch choose? Well...
But think about it real quick. Think about your leaders, right? Anybody. When I say your leaders, I mean you in whatever country you're in, right? A leader has to be strong. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have in our country right now is our leader doesn't look strong on paper at all. He looks lost, but that's fine. But your leader should be strong. It's amazing. You watch presidents, prime ministers, in whatever country, it doesn't matter. You watch the schedule some of these people keep and think about what it takes to physically keep that schedule mentally, the mental strength is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
We don't have a written constitution, so instead we rely heavily on conventions of etiquette, long-standing rules on how the government should work. For example, no one ever created the office of Prime Minister. Like, there's no law anywhere saying that we must always have one. It's just that gradually one of the King's ministers got so important that they were called the Prime Minister. So over the years, we've tacked lots of layers of democracy and party machinations onto a system that is still at its core a monarchy. Those layers have changed over the years, but as it stands at the moment, the monarch always chooses...
I run India now, never mind. I love the animals she's using for this, it's great.
...the leader of the political party who has the most seats in the House of Commons. So how do you get to be that? Well, first you'll want to look at becoming a Member of Parliament, an MP. An MP is a local representative for an area of the country called a constituency. There are 650 constituencies called things like Batley and Spen, Upper Ban and Tooting, so there are 650 MPs. They sit in the lower of the two Houses of Parliament called...
I want to be the MP for Tooting. I'm well qualified. Called
the House of Commons. There is an upper house called the House of Lords, but the last PM to be chosen from the House of Lords was in 1963, and he renounced his peerage before he took office. The last PM to actually run things from the House of Lords was before the sinking of the Titanic. This hasn't always been the case, and in the 19th century it was actually much more common to have PMs from the House of Lords than the House of Commons, but it's the reality of the 20th and, so far, 21st centuries. So, to run for being an MP, you have to be a British citizen, or a citizen of the Republic of Ireland, or a citizen of one of the 54 countries of the Commonwealth and who has indefinite leave to remain in the UK, over 18, not disqualified by bankruptcy restrictions, not sentenced to more than 1 year's imprisonment, not in the House of Lords, and not holding a job that disbars you. There are several jobs...
Hold on a second. So, as long as you only served up to a year in prison, imprisonment, no more than 1 year imprisonment. You serve a year in prison, you can be the Prime Minister. But if you did any kind of crime that got you convicted in the United States, they don't let you visit the UK. Huh.
That are seen as being in conflict with being an MP, so you can't do them both at the same time. This includes being a civil servant.
I only know that because I was told now that Donald Trump got convicted. If it doesn't get overturned, then he might not be allowed in the UK because they don't let convicted felons. And I thought that was kind of funny.
A judge, being in the army, or being in the police force. So if you have any of those jobs, you have to resign first. Now, technically, you could win an election at this level by standing as an independent candidate apart from any political party, but you've got your eyes on the top job, and for that, you'll need to be a candidate for a political party. Although there are any number of smaller parties you can choose from, none of them have ever sent anyone to the top job.
Well, you guys got the Green Party too. We do too. They get like 0.1% of the vote.
So realistically, you need to be the chosen candidate for your area from one of the two major parties, Labour and the Conservative.
We got Republicans, Democrats, we got a bunch of little parties too. Nobody ever gets any freaking votes from the little parties. It's worthless. It's always one of the two big ones. It's a shitty system.
Also known as the Tories. So how do you get to be chosen by a party? Well, the party gets to make up its own rules for this, but generally you won't be decided upon by a national body, but by the division of the party for your constituency, for your local area. If you want to be chosen by the Tories, you must be a tax resident and have the right to work in the UK. You must have been a member of the party for 3 months. You must agree to the Nolan Principles of Public Life, established in 1995 for all public officials: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty and leadership, and not be a member of a rival party. You apply online, and if you fit all the criteria, you have to attend a webinar of all things, which lays out the next steps. You pay £110 for them to do what's called a due diligence check on you, which is where they presumably check if you're on the sex offenders register and whether there's any photos of you peeing against a war memorial. And you pay £250 for an appointment at your local assessment centre. Here you do a series of exercises designed to test your judgment, breadth of experience, political convictions and integrity. Then you get put on the list of approved candidates, and you can apply to vacancies in specific areas. Once you've chosen your area, that local party puts together a shortlist of at least 6 candidates, and then party members vote using an alternative vote system. If you want to be chosen by the Labour Party, you must have been a member of the party for a year, and the rest of their rules are hidden behind a paywall on their website. But presumably it won't be too different to how the Tories work. When you run for MP, you have to pay a £500 deposit, which you lose if you get less than 5% of the vote. But since you're the candidate for a major party, they'll pay that for you, as well as most of your election expenses. So, now you're a member of Parliament. You get to vote on making new laws in the UK, and you get to make this noise during the debates. Next, you need to be chosen as the leader of your party. So, bad luck if you chose to run as an independent.
Yep.
So how do parties choose their leader? Well, again, there are no laws on this. A party can choose a leader however it likes, so it will differ from party to party and from year to year. One thing that'll improve your chances is if you've held a cabinet or shadow cabinet position, like Chancellor of the Exchequer or Home Secretary. These are appointed by the leader of the party, so the person whose job you want to take. If you don't do any of these extra jobs and are what they call a mere backbencher, you might still get nominated to the leadership as a joke, but if you want to boost your chances, you'll vie for it.
Who was that guy? he might get elected as a joke, and then they flash some dude's face.
A cabinet position. If you're in the Labour Party, to be chosen as their leader, you have to be nominated by 10% of MPs and from 5% of constituency parties, or at least 3 affiliates, which make up 5% of affiliated membership, 2 of which must be trade unions. As you might expect from the name, the Labour Party is closely associated with trade unions and other labour organisations, and they get to vote on their policies and nominate leaders. Everyone who's got that many nominations goes into a ballot for party members and supporters. They all vote and rank their candidates in order of preference. The winner is chosen using an alternative vote system. The first person to get to over 50% of the vote is the winner.
Wow.
If you are in the Conservative Party, they don't have a set of rules that's the same each time. Instead, every single time they need a new leader, they have to announce fresh how it's going to work. For example, the process for appointing Liz Truss as party leader was very different to how Rishi Sunak got appointed. But you have to be a sitting MP, so no more Lords getting the leadership. And like the Labour Party, they'll put together a list of people who've been nominated. They do not explain how MPs get nominated to the leadership. Usually, they'll do ballots to whittle that list down to 2 candidates. Once it's down to 2, the ballot goes out to wider party members.
Who you got, the frog or the beetle? Frog or the beetle? Which one? I'm taking the frog.
Because there's only 2 candidates, they don't have to worry about what voting system they're going to use. It's just whoever gets the most votes. So, now you're the leader of your party. You get to sit on the front row in Parliament. But how does the king decide which leader to invite to become Prime Minister? Well, it's whichever one has a majority of seats, not votes, in the House of Commons.
Well,
so when the next general election rolls around, every constituency votes for their...
I was gonna say that kind of sucks, but maybe it doesn't suck. I don't know. It's just the way they do it. I just like... once somebody's got all the seats, it must be so hard to turn. It's
MP
weird.
again, and not only do you have to keep your own seat, but also more of your party members have to win theirs than any other party. Since there are 650 seats, you're ideally hoping to get half that number plus 1, which is 326. If 325 of your party members plus yourself win your elections from your constituency, then the previous PM will go to the King and recommend that you get invited to Buckingham Palace to be made the next Prime Minister. If you get more than any other party but still not quite 326, then you'll have to club together with a smaller party or 2 to make a coalition government where you promise to share power. If you can promise them enough power to keep them happy, then they'll add their numbers to yours to make up the 326 needed, and the previous PM will go to the King and recommend that you get invited to Buckingham Palace to be made the next Prime Minister. So that's the journey. Join a major party, become a candidate, become an MP, become party leader, and win a general election. Just 5 simple steps to becoming Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Wow. Let's see what the end is like here. Anything? All right. Animal characters drawn by J.J. Granville. All right, cool. All right, so a couple things. First of all, very informational video. Really, really, really well done. This creator is awesome. I really hope that even she can keep the revenue. Just let me use it and don't strike me, because I bet that there's more really cool videos that I would like to educate myself with from Jay Draper. So really well done, well edited. These are professional, beautiful videos. I really enjoyed that. That was really, really well, very nice, very well narrated as well. So I mean, she did a great job. The only person that would have done as good of a job might have been Jim Dale. Jim Dale reference number 1 tonight. Never know. Might be the only one. Who knows? Anyways, Jay Draper, thank you so much for putting this together, explaining this, especially to some sap like me in America who wants to understand a little more. I learned a few things in there, quite a few things actually. I had no idea how they got elected to the different parties. It's funny because like the Labour Party is more like our Democratic Party, it seems. The Tories, I think, are more like the Republicans. I'm only guessing that because the Tories are called conservatives and we call the Republicans a conservative party. But it's funny because certain things like didn't line up all the way, so they're definitely not the same, obviously. But either way, it doesn't matter. Just kind of, I like drawing comparisons between the two, you know. So that was that. That was a great video, Jay Draper. Thank you again. I humbly thank you for that. That was amazing. So I hope you folks enjoyed that. I'll put a link to Jay Draper's channel in the comments down below. Please go over and check out more of her content and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I will catch you all very soon. Maybe. Maybe not. Probably, though. Yeah. Be good, all right? Squirrel out.
Hey, look, squirrel. That's what they call me. Proud American with roots in the UK. Can't you see? I love a good land.